Well, hello and welcome to the final Q&A session for the Expert in the Year Challenge. We finished about 2 weeks ago now, so we're ready to answer any questions that you might have. And we've had quite a few coming in. We're going to try and speed through them a bit faster than last time and spend about a minute per question. So if we haven't covered everything, apologise for that. First question, loads of people were asking this, is probably the most common thing that we're asked. It's saying, how much is Sam going to play now in this next year? Where does he think he'll be in 12 months' time? Is he going to play in a league or for a club, or are we going to keep playing in the kitchen? Kind of what's the plan now? So Sam, what's the plan for the next 12 months?
Well, as you can see, the kitchen's changed. We're not sitting at a table tennis table anymore.
No.
What am I going to do going forward? That's a good question. So, what I'm doing at the moment is I've joined a local league team in Central League Division 5, which is like the bottom one, where I'm hoping to win everything, basically. I would love to get 100% win rate, or as close to as possible, because I've just had a long time of now losing a lot, and I've learned some skills, so I want to actually benefit from them.
Yeah.
I've kind of got in my mind that in a year's time I want to be, or a little less than a year's time, I want to be doing some of the Grand Prix I did this year and see how I get on. And I actually reckon I'm going to improve quite a lot, because we always found that with learning these skills and getting used to table tennis is that there was a bit of a time delay between doing something and actually showing up in games. So we crammed it so much in the last couple of months, that I hope that will start to show off in the next month or two. And then in the meantime, I'm going to play at some local clubs. Highbury is my nearest, so I'm probably going to play there once or twice a week, and then we'll see what else.
And you're playing for Ish, aren't you, in the Central League?
Oh yeah, playing for Ish in
Ish
Central League
team.
yeah.
Cool. Another one that was asked by loads of people is, looking back over the challenge, what was the hardest part, or what were the times that you found kind of particularly tough?
So the hardest part was losing. So losing to someone who you should lose to is annoying. That's fine. Losing to someone and playing badly who you think you should be beating is horrible.
Yeah.
It's awful. And that happened a lot. And I think it's something a lot of people have, but it's not a linear line, it's getting good at table tennis. There's a lot of times when you think you should be better than you are, and it just doesn't show up, and that's really tough. But the hardest actual time was, I just crammed in loads of table tennis. I've just done Denmark, followed by Eger, followed by a trip to Middlesbrough, loads of these hardcore table tennis camps. And then we immediately started going to loads of local clubs and playing with those people, so moving out of the kitchen. So there's a lot more travelling around, and I was really burnt out and ended up taking like a week and a half off or something.
Yeah.
Because I was getting really miserable.
You just grumpy every session.
It was a waste of time.
The first rally, the first time you'd miss a shot, it'd just be just complaining and just grumpy.
I just burnt out. But after a week, and then since then it's been, I've got the energy levels back, and I think it got good a lot better towards the end.
Yeah. Cool. Alex has asked, did doing this for the challenge and kind of filming your matches, having the video camera there, knowing that loads of people are watching, did that add to the pressure when you were playing in the tournaments? And do you think that maybe played worse? Did it make you more nervous and things like that?
No, I don't think so. So maybe the first couple of times, but because we've been filming me playing table tennis every day for a year, and the first tournament came 10 months into it, and so by then I was so used to having camera, I just didn't really notice it anymore. And it's strange, you kind of have this fear that people are going to think worse of you for losing, but the opposite happened. If you look at our YouTube videos, every match where I lose, all the comments are really encouraging and full of the positives. So if anything, that time when you're feeling terrible about losing someone you shouldn't have done, having a video and having people see it is actually quite encouraging, because everyone relates to it, everyone knows what you're going through, and everyone has had that situation before.
Cool. Next question. Russell Wilkins asked me, between the games, what was the best advice that you gave to Sam when I was corner coaching him, and did it make a difference? Well, to start off, one thing we noticed quite quickly was that if I gave Sam too much advice, kind of in the corner, often it would make him play like worse, like much worse, because just thinking about trying to play short or trying to do one particular thing made him just kind of forget everything. So we got to a point where I was trying not to actually give him too much technical stuff in the corner. Sam, is there anything that stands out as particularly good advice?
So we found that I was playing worse, and like if you watch my first few games, it would by the last game I'd be losing like 11-3. So the first one might be like 11-8,
Yeah.
and then like it just gets worse. And the reason is, Ben might tell me, "Oh, just playing wide. Trying doing these really horrible shots wide, and everything will fall apart." But what we did find though was good advice was talking about serve and return. And that was really helpful, especially. So I remember one time in particular where I just couldn't return the person's serve the whole of the first set, and it was these sort of like top spinny side spin stuff to my backhand, and I just kept like just swinging.
I think you were trying to let it come through and top spin it, and it was kind of kicking forward a bit, so you were just top edging everything.
And Ben just said, just guide it on, just do this. And I did it, and I played so much better.
Yeah, so there are a few times where it's easy just to give one little thing that can make a difference, but I mean a lot of the time we found that it was making it worse just because it's just overcomplicating things and you start analysing too much. And
telling me something like, snap your forearm more is just an annoying bit of advice to give, because it's, like it's. I know I'm doing that wrong. But that's not helpful. That's not something I'm doing on purpose.
All right, next question. Next level on Table Tennis Daily asked, did you ever consider giving Sam a pimples rubber or an anti-spin rubber, just kind of a different rubber on one side? I did think about that at the start of the challenge, because I thought it might make it easier for him to kind of beat less experienced players, just kind of sticking long pimples on the bat. I kind of decided against it because I thought, for one, it's a little bit unfair on Sam just to kind of give him funny rubbers when he doesn't really know what they are, and then maybe he's got people kind of complaining that they don't like playing him and he doesn't really know what's going on. Two, I thought maybe kind of just learning to play with a weird rubber and beating a few people that can't play it isn't really going to prove how good you can get at table tennis. I mean, it is to an extent, but are you happy that you didn't do that?
I'm happy because I think I would have got a lot of hate from people, especially if I'd done well, because I'm sure there's people I could have beaten by spending a year just getting really good at being awkward.
Yeah.
But I never would have, there's only a certain level you can get by learning to just annoy people. So I'm pleased with that. There were times when I remember one card journey, I was like, I wish you'd just given me some rubbish rubbers and I could just annoy people and cheat, and I was like, what I could do is I could make weird noises and put people off, and I was coming up with all these weird cheats I can come up with. Well, I'm glad we didn't do any of that.
Okay, Sean O'Neill asked us, what was the time split between technical, tactical and mental training, and what kind of stuff did we do for each? Quite a big question, but we did quite a lot of technical, obviously kind of all the basics at the start. We probably could have done with doing a bit more on movement, balance and stuff like that, instead of just doing loads of shots, but we kind of sped through the technique for all the main shots really quickly. Maybe didn't cover them to the detail that we should because we were trying to squeeze it all into a year. Tactical we didn't do loads on. We started thinking more about serve and return and set pieces and things, but it's always difficult to know is it better to sort out some of the technical stuff, is it better to start thinking about the tactical stuff? We ended up kind of doing a bit of everything.
We originally had these sort of splits in mind, and when you throw in sort of fitness side as well, we were we'll spend X amount of time on this and all that. And eventually, based on my play, what I'm really let down on is the technique, and so we really focus a lot of time on the technique, because all great saying tactics, but if I can't put people wide to my forehand because my forehand's not consistent enough, then how useful is it? Okay,
next question. Josh Kelly is asking, what aspects of the training do we think gave us the best results? So looking back, what do we wish that we'd done more of? What do you think, Sam?
So there were times where we felt like we had a bit of a breakthrough, and we'd do something and it'd be like, was really effective and that was really good. So one of them I think was we just started messing around a bit and just switching the ball from topspin to backspin, but just continuously in a rally. So one of us would chop, the other one would open up, and then the other person would chop, and that I thought got like really taught feeling well. That was something which I was, and you know, we did that like twice, and I felt so much better by the end of it. And that made a massive impact.
It was like I always thought it'd be a bit of a waste teaching Sam to chop. It's kind of like not something that you really want him doing in games. But once he was able to chop a topspin ball, just we did it for half an hour, just as a bit of fun.
Yeah.
We immediately saw an improvement in his opener. It's kind of like the reverse, and if you can turn a topspin ball into backspin, you should be able to turn a backspin ball into topspin. And just understand it a little bit better.
And it's just I feel like that sort of feeling stuff was good.
Yeah, and that actually kind of covers the next question, which was from Kenchi Himura, who said, "How did you teach Sam feel?"
The answer is we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't really
until like these 2 sessions right near the end, and we wish we'd done more of it.
It can kind of seem like fear is a really magical thing that some players have and some don't, and you might get it if you play for long enough. Whereas I think we have learnt that if you do mess around with spin and doing things to the ball, then you can kind of learn it just through practice.
Just need a lot of variation. And we also, so the one thing we did do is we got to a point where, probably about 3 months before the end, where we were like, Sam, you just got to play as many people as possible, because like, you spent 9 months just us two playing.
Yeah.
So I played good when I'm playing Ben, and I played terrible when I'm playing everyone else. So just play as many people as possible.
Yeah. Penultimate question. Derek Marshall asked us, seems like Sam was let down a bit in his serve and return. And would it have been best just to focus exclusively on that and on the third ball, with points being so short these days? Should we just have spent time teaching the strokes that get used a lot in the matches? And that's kind of something that we wrestled with a bit. We spent a bit of time where we kind of almost exclusively just doing serve, open up, digging, trying to finish off a point quickly.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if it really works with the beginner to have that kind of mindset.
There was a point where we were like, okay, let's scrap everything that isn't needed in those few points. We're like, let's not bother doing any like loop to loop or any sort of looping or away from table stuff. Let's not bother doing any blocking because you need to play aggressively. So why would you ever need to block? Let's not bother doing any chopping. Let's not bother doing any driving. You need to be doing these big top spins. And after a bit of this, we
realised it wasn't really getting.
It wasn't really, because like that feeling which we were talking about before. Just doing that, it's fine. I got very good at doing these big, like you can watch. At my first trip to Swerve, about 6 weeks into the challenge, and I was doing these big open ups just off Ben doing multi-ball.
But it doesn't translate.
But it doesn't translate into a game because not everyone's backspin is the same. You need to know if it needs a little bit of adjustment, and so I think that you got to just do everything. You got to get that feeling, and you got to just have lots of variation and practice with the correct technique.
Okay, final question from David Taliaferro, and this is a really good question. When coming up against a weaker player in a tournament, is it better to play aggressively and maybe you lose, or is it better to play conservatively and hopefully you win? And this is something that we've struggled with, kind of the concept of what's better to do. Is it better to try and play your best and really go for it, but you might miss all your shots? Is it better just to kind of keep the ball on and hope that they miss because they're weaker?
Yeah.
Try and move them around, try and make them look bad instead of kind of looking good yourself?
Yeah, I've got no idea. You tell me.
Yeah.
What I will say is that we thought there was a difference between long-term thinking and match thinking. So what's better doing in one particular match is not necessarily best for you as a long-term player.
Yeah. So often if Sam's playing someone that's quite weak, if we really want him to win that game, then maybe he just needs to push until he wins.
Yeah, never do any open ups, just wait until they mess up.
Because it depends how much you want to win the game, doesn't it? Whereas if you're thinking long term, it's probably better to treat that game as a little bit more practice of actually getting your attacking style into a match, and maybe you lose, but next time you'll have a better chance of winning attacking.
I think Waldner used to have something where if he was coming up against a weaker player, he'd say, "Oh, I'm only going to serve backspin, or I'm only going to do a certain type of shot." And I think that's quite good advice for like long-term improvement.
Yeah, because he was probably winning anyway, but, but he's not just focused on winning this game as much as possible, trying to let them get his feet. He's trying to learn how to play.
Alright.
Well, that's all of it. So, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully that's quite a lot shorter than the last one that we did.
Yeah, we're a little bit over our time, but
Not too bad.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for following all of the challenges. This is probably the last time that we'll talk to you on camera, so it's been a pleasure.
It's been an experience.
Hope you've enjoyed following our progress, and hopefully in 12 months' time Sam will still be playing a bit and you can see how he's getting on kind of on his own.
And if you do anything similar yourself, please let us know how you're getting on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. See you later, everyone.
Good. I think that was good.